Good evening, speed gamers. We are back with another great match. This is the Metroid Fusion Open Randomizer Tournament. I'm Army of One. Co-commentating with me tonight, Autumn out of habit. Autumn, how are you doing tonight?
Doing pretty great for a Monday. Always glad to see some very high-end fusion on the calendar.
Yeah, we are getting down to the wire. You mentioned earlier, there's only like 3 matches at a time that is able to be scheduled at once. It's like we were looking at 8, 16 sometimes that are able to be scheduled just because it's double elim. But now we're down to 3.
I counted it out, and we have 6 or 7 matchups left, depending on if we get a bracket reset.
That is exciting indeed. But this is game 2 of Herculesbenchpress versus Lenophis. A couple days ago, they matched up. Herc took the first game, but then had a little bit of hardware malfunction. So this is the rescheduling and continuation of that series. And we should be seeing the start of the match very soon.
Yeah, and it's been a while since we've brought, aside from game 1 of this, it's been a while since we've brought anything from Winner's Bracket, just because Loser's Bracket has many more games to play through. But we are in Winner's Bracket, best out of 3, with Lenophis taking the first game. And unlike a lot of our matchups, the loser of this matchup is not out of the tournament. They will simply drop down into Loser's Finals, and they are guaranteed a top 3 spot in the tournament. Which, speaking of, we are down to our final 6 competitors after this past weekend. So everyone left in the tournament is definitely good enough to go all the way. So we've got some exciting matchups, exciting storylines to see unfold. Put those matchups aside, we are going to focus on this matchup here. Our runners are going to make their way up to the operations deck to pick up their first item after the initial climb. And the item can be either Morph Ball, Speed Booster, or missiles. And Army, what do you think we're going to find up there?
I mean, the pessimist in me says that we're just going to find Speed Booster. The spicy optimist in me really wants to see Morph Ball. Those seem to be the most interesting starts to seeds. Now, whether a seed becomes more interesting down the road, that always remains to be seen. We've had super spicy missile starts, like recently, in fact.
A missile start is my prediction here, in fact, but that might be colored by it seems like every seed I get these days is a missile start. I've even been missing speed.
Well, we'll find out soon enough. Just as Herc downloads his first... It's not missiles. It is speed.
In fact, Speed Booster, as will be appearing on the screen courtesy of our tracker tonight, the Great Pikmin.
Thanks, Pick, for paying attention to the race, so we don't have to.
Yep, because we won't anyway.
Instead,
I remember the days when we had so many races that we'd have to do solo comms and tracking by ourselves sometimes.
Yeah, with Pikmin on tracker, I just get to figure out how the crabs are going to rise up. Grab the missile packs and somehow attach them to their claws or something. I still haven't figured out that, by the way. It's been an entire weekend. I still don't know what I was talking about.
It'll be a bit of time before we get to any crabs, though. Our runners will have to do a series of shine sparks through the main stairwell in order to get to the sectors. Once they get there, they will have the option to go into Sector 2. We're playing on difficulty 2 of version 0.9.0 of the randomizer, and that means that our runners cannot logically be expected to break into Sector 1 by using a Shine Spark to kill the first stabilizer, so speed starts a little bit linear, both runners picking up some E at the top of the main elevator, and we're going to see both runners go to Sector 2. There is the item locked behind a cargo, level 1 security locks to open, and the data room, and at least one of the 2 items left has to be a major that will give us progression.
Well, so we've got Kago, we've got Data Room, but then after the locks, we also have the 2 items in Sector 3 across the heated room and under the floorboards. That will also be, but, ooh!
Oh no!
A little bit of a rough start for the runners. They won't be able to aim for a while because they only have Wave Beam.
I told
the
you there
damage,
would be a major. I didn't say it would be one the runners want.
I mean, the extra damage is nice from time to time, especially against these Zoros and or Zeros, depending upon the localization. But if you're missing rooms at the same time, like you can miss doors, like you can miss stationary blocks. Single wave beam is not nice.
And you definitely can't shoot anything that's right in front of your face. You can certainly try, though. And
Herc,
I will
first reach.
I was just going to agree with a comment from Adorkable Sophie in chat that Wave does sometimes help her to hit stuff at weird angles. I can agree, especially once you get used to it, can hit some weird things, but really throws off a lot of muscle memory. And as you were saying, Herc was the first 2 level 1 locks, and let's see what the data room holds.
So we're still looking for... I mean, Wave actually does unlock a little bit of progress. We do now have the Wave Door Garen check in early 4. So that's one more item in the mix. And we have Morph Ball, so that's another one.
Morph Ball will let us get into quite a few more places, but still doesn't open up Sector 1. That does put an item in the drain pipe in Sector 4 into logic, though. As a lot of runners forget you need Morph Ball to pick it up.
Oh, that's right. That is absolutely correct.
I have made that mistake in a tournament race. That's how I know that. Ooh, Lenophis having a little bit of trouble climbing out of Sector 2, and let's see when our runners get out. Herc taking a safety save. We will see where they are in relation to each other as they exit. Leno also refilling the health.
With that safety save, I suspect that Herc will be going back up to the main deck to check the cubby hole outside main doors.
Leno also taking a save, refilling his health. I have a feeling we're going to see Leno go to Sector 3 and check behind the monkey bars.
I think he might go to 4, actually. No, he's...
Oh, he's making the main deck play as well. It's a good play to make. One fun thing about the randomizer is it does prioritize newly opened locations. However, so that makes the cubby hole very common after Morph Ball gets opened. However, we're just finding a pack of missiles there. Herc says, I don't want those. I'm resetting down to Sector 2. Leno will opt to pick them up.
Oh,
or not.
But then opts to reset.
And both commentators being wrong, as Summer mentions in chat, is pretty much the story of Army and I in the booth.
Oh, I mean, I was just a little bit early with the 4 call because Herc is going to 4 for that single Garen check.
And I think Leno just realized that that's open and is also going there.
Hey, what do you know? Army sometimes knows things sometimes.
It is a good play because 3 you have to run all the way across the station, whereas 1 is right next door. And you want to check it anyway. And you're hoping that maybe your opponent didn't remember to check it. And it feels like this drain pipe item is a major a lot of the time. And we've got Varia suit, so we're going to be heading across the monkey bars, but at least our runners won't have to worry about the damage they take on the way out. Although it is a bit tight, the energy... No, wait, they have an extra energy tank. It's not tight getting out of here.
It might have been a little bit tight if it wasn't a suit upgrade. The suit upgrades make those damage ticks only a single damage instead of 3. But with that extra E-Tank, it certainly is much more palatable. In fact, earlier on in this tournament, we have seen a new type of soft lock that the seed verifiers hadn't seen before, where we had progression in that electrified water, but we didn't have enough energy available to us at the time to get it. So that was an interesting turn of events. Herc going into
down the elevator into Sector 3 at 7:46, so we'll be able to get a gauge of just how close these runners are. and it looks like Herc is about 18 seconds ahead of Lenophis here. And that's sort of something you would expect on a very linear progression. Herc, one of the best in the business at Metroid Fusion, Lenophis, a veteran of many randomizers. So I would say that Herc definitely has a little bit of an execution edge, but routing can trump execution. And speaking of, well, I don't know how to say that, but we found Charge Beam in the Telltale Heart.
So that will open up our Sector 1. Charge Beam... Herc! Herc, oh my goodness! About to make a major routing mistake, but remembers, oh, I don't have bombs to get out of there.
Yeah, and chat bringing up the pseudo screw attack with Wave Beam. Their pseudo screw attack will be the third most powerful thing in the game, doing 48 points of damage. The only things more powerful are power bombs, which do 50, or the screw attack, which I don't even know that there's a number for.
I'm sure that there's a number for it. Just because it does do damage to the SIX. But I'm not sure what that number is.
At any rate, Charge Beam also one of our items needed for Go Mode, and I suppose we should probably let anyone who might be new to the randomizer in on what's needed for Go Mode. So in order to get Go Mode, our runners will need to find Charge Beam, Plasma Beam, missiles, and they need to have one of High Jump or Space Jump and open level 4 security locks. And of course, to open level 4 security locks, we do need Morph Ball, one of Bombs or Screw Attack, missiles again, a way out of lower sector 4, Speed Booster, and Gravity Suit. And Herc, following the Charge Beam into sector 1, having Charge Beam does open up the ability to get through the stabilizers logically. Wave Beam makes it very difficult to hit them, so we're probably going to see our runners doing pseudo screw attacks. Or Herc here trying to carry a Shine Spark down there in order to use that to kill the first stabilizer. A trick that can be required in difficulty 3 or above.
And with Wave Beam, there's actually a little bit of an opportunity for interesting routing to be had. Bombs found in the Hornout Hole. So that will open up Sector 4 and entrance into Sector 2, lower Sector 2, but might be a thing getting out. But as far as routing goes, with Wave Beam, you can go in through the back if you have missiles in order to fight the Charge Core, but we don't have missiles yet. So that might not be it's a play that's too smart.
It would be a very bad play because even the Crab Rave item is also missile locked.
Right.
So
right.
Our runners would be able to go soft lock themselves if they wanted to. Herc did pick up an energy tank at Baby's first wall jumps, and going to give us a check of Lava Dive. Meanwhile, Lenophis on his way into Baby's first wall jumps as well.
And we have missiles. You could see how careful Herc was being with opening the door on the other side with his Wave Beam. He stood up, he shot a couple things, he waited for the door to open because Wave Beam just misses everything.
Missiles and ice missiles. So he gets his missiles, he gets the upgrade that a lot of runners don't like to get, but now his missiles will do double the damage. Definitely a helpful upgrade there. As well as giving him a way out of lower sector 4 if he wants to scam his way out. And
that will actually give more immediately a way out of lower sector 2 should he go down there.
Although the RNG that you need for that sometime to freeze a Zoro to climb out of there, I am not a fan.
Yeah, it's a coin flip and it never feels good.
You know, it's a coin flip, but it's taken me 10 tries before.
Oh yeah, that's probability right there.
Yeah, and I am no math scientist, but I know that's pretty low odds of that happening.
Man, I'm trying to remember back to my statistics classes and exactly what distribution.
It would be 1 over 2 to the 10th. I just don't want to calculate 2 to the 10th.
Right. That's the probability, but you know, it's named after someone. It's the binomial distribution, blah blah blah. But But we're not here for a stats lesson. We're here for randomizers, which is based on random
What we have is Lenophis taking a couple of missiles on Stabilizer 3. Going to get access to the Crab Guardian. Oh no, there's a major at the watering hole, unlike the missiles that Crab Guardian has. You can get that without Gravity Suit, with a Shine Spark that is, I believe, frame perfect. If it's not frame perfect, it's 2 frames.
Oh no! Well, Herc will also have to use Charge Beam to get through these Hornodes to build up speed because he has Ice Missiles. But he's through. It's not the prettiest, but it'll work.
Now, when you find a major at the watering hole, the thing that you always wonder is, are the runners going to remember it when they find gravity? Because we have definitely seen people lose some races to just seeing the major there, but mentally just checking it off the list of things that they've seen. And meanwhile, just some missiles at the charge core. Lenophis going to build up his speed. I can't imagine we're going to see him go for the watering hole item either. And I blinked. I didn't see what was in Crab Rave, but since I blinked and missed it, I'm guessing it was just a minor.
Don't worry. Chat watches it, so we don't have to.
And both our runners using our runners are using their missiles to go through these stabilizers. Might not be cognizant of the fact that their Wave Beam Pseudo Screw will do 48 and would actually one-shot them, so just a quick tip from your commentator as a quicker way if you have Charge Wave to get through those stabilizers, as long as you can tank a little bit of damage. And with those power bombs at the Crab Rave, I want to know, what are those crabs planning?
No, don't bring that back up. I haven't figured it out yet.
It's okay. We'll be here for at least 1 game, maybe 2, because this series will be finished tonight. And with bombs open, Herc is going to go over to Sector 3 to open Level 2 security locks. Why you do this to us, Fusion devs? And I think it's
because numbers are a lie, and and counting is hard.
Especially coming out of Sector 1, it's very much the just easy decision to make to go open your Level 2s. It'll give you access into Sectors 5 and 6, especially the front of Sector 6 can be loaded, and we do have Varia that can be pointing in that direction. As well as just gives you access into the rest of Sector 3, so even if you're not immediately following those green doors, just so much that opens up, and it's right next door to 1, it's the closest you'll ever be. But
Lenophis is diverting a bit. Instead, he's heading into Sector 4. It's a nice little loop to do, and pretty rich in checks, so it's not a bad idea.
It's not a bad idea. It feels like a gamble to me, because Herc is well known for his coherent routing and for being incredibly thorough, and just going for basically the closest path available. So, a randomizer veteran would know that Herc probably not going to make the play to Sector 4. Sector 4 very feast or famine, but if a go mode item is here, that could win Leno a race. Meanwhile, just some missiles down in the ouch cushion on Herc's screen. And we're going to get the Nova Stairs. More missiles. I feel like we've seen so many missiles in this seat already. And some power bombs at the far end of the Nova Stairs.
Herc taking a little bit of a lava bath on the way out, but that's okay. And not, yeah, that wave beam ice missile combo, not getting through the ouches fast enough to build up a speed charge. That just, it's the worst combo. We're in the worst timeline. You can do it, but
it's not easy. And Herc farming for some health here, down to 54. Probably a good call, them freezing the rest of the stretchies. And probably going to see Herc use the recharge room under box. Meanwhile, Lenophis going into the pumpkin troll, finding more missiles there. But of all things to not be missiles, Bob is Power Bob today.
And Herc deciding not to go up to the top. He doesn't have super missiles, and so he has just enough firepower to get through box, but
He has Charge Beam.
and he has charge. Well,
He only
it's
has
charge
2
wave.
E-tanks, because if you have Charge Wave and just weaker missiles, a way that I usually fight box in that situation is I'll just go in and pseudo screw it to death.
48
Box
damage
has
is
300 health, so it just takes 7. Yeah, chat, I agree that wave charge is awful on box if you're shooting it. It's great if you're just face tanking it.
Lenophis breaking a little bit of logic. He doesn't have high jump or grav, so Ceres currently isn't in logic with his loadout.
And unfortunately for him, I'm calling power bombs on Ceres, and I don't mean data. I mean just the tank.
Yeah, I'm not feeling very confident about Ceres having anything, especially because we don't have logical loadout access. It's fairly likely that Ceres is in logic by now, with green doors being unlocked. With that volume of checks, he'll probably find either gravity or high jump.
It just furthers my belief that Leno is making a gamble here, and it could pay off. I didn't catch what was under the broken bridge on the way up to Ceres, did you?
It was just a powerbomb tank.
And just a powerbomb tank on Ceres. You heard it here first. I am back on making the Ceres calls. We'll just pretend that my game 2 against FPIS never happened.
I'm not sure if I would like to formally apologize for that seed or not, because that seed was fire.
Oh no, I absolutely deserved to lose a race to not checking Ceres. I've been saying the whole time, if something's there, I just lose. And it looks like Herc is giving us the Arachnus play. Not a bad play, it's a bit out of the way, but you also get access to 5 checks up there.
5 checks and 2 checks on the way with animals and animals right.
That is missiles in the powerbomb lock check in Sector 4. So won't need to come back there with powerbomb data. I didn't even see in the dark what the first item was. Herc deciding he does want more energy.
It's a slower E-tank.
He left the faster E-tank and picked up the slower E-tank. You know, maybe Herc's just thinking, the seed's giving me so many E-tanks, probably want to grab some. We do have Varia already, so the worst damage runs are the cold ones. So I can definitely see why Herc wouldn't be too worried about energy. He routinely finishes any percent with only 3 tanks.
And with ice missiles, that'll make real quick work of the misnamed armadillo.
And we are continuing our route divergence here. Herc resetting out. Oh, he hadn't saved on main deck. I thought that he had saved there because I didn't see when he checked animals, or if he did. But
He
Leno
did check
is going
animals.
into Sector 2.
Yeah, so with Sector 3 being, or at least lower Sector 3 was a bust.
But Sector 4 was also a bust for Lenophis.
Sector 4 was also a bust. So Sector 2 looking pretty, at least from this top-down commentator perspective, it's looking pretty juicy right now.
Yeah. Also, I have to say that I feel like Herc is in the lead here. He's made more checks, and Lenophis is going to, unless he finds Screw Attack and Gravity, he's going to be opening his green doors at some point, and very likely going to go through Sector 3. Unless Box's area is the answer.
Right, so I would put Lenophis technically in the lead because he is making the newest checks right now. But he doesn't know he's in the lead, and that's really
Herc
important.
also giving us Sector 6.
Oh, Herc going into Sector 6 instead of Sector 4.
The thing is,
So,
Leno also has the Arachnus play in the back of his head. Not sure when he decides to go make that play. But it's always something with a non-missile start. You have to wonder, when am I going to go up there? I agree with Herc's routing decision here, though. Whenever I see Varia early, and can also open green doors, that tells me I want to check Sector 6. The first two items were not majors. They do have a seemingly high probability, though. But there are still two more checks that you can find. And if he wants to do a clip into the bottom of the sector, plenty more than that.
but it should be noted that clip is a clip. It is very much out of logic. So while... Oh, here we go. We've got a nice juicy major in Wonderwall. Is this going to be the day that Lenophis gets back at Herc?
Let's see if this is going to be the check that saves him. Having fun with those underwater wall jumps. Those are
The
definitely a bit of a
Wonderwall.
knuckle buster. And screw attack at
Speaking of screw
Wonderwall.
attack. Speaking of screw attack.
It's adventure time, folks.
Grab your friends. You know, I actually haven't seen that show.
That's okay, I've seen it enough for the both of us. But Screw Attack can send you in all kinds of wrong places and some right places. This will open up the Zazabi Speedway to Leno while he's still in lower 2. Meanwhile, Herc going to go clear out upper sector 4. We already know he's not going to find anything there. An interesting note, when or if Leno decides to check sector 6, that Screw Attack gives him access to lower sector 6.
Right, so 6 is now certainly in logic.
Of course, he will have to get his green doors open before he goes there. And it looks like Herc is planning on skipping Saris if he checked Saris escape on his way into the sector. It makes sense, Saris not in logic for him with his current loadout. Because you need either high jump or gravity for Saris to be in logic.
Though he's also skipping the under Saris check. So, so we're not. It could go either way at this point. Those
maybe
two
he's
Saris
just expecting
escape
to
checks.
reset out of Saris, because then he'll see the check on the way up.
That's a possibility, and not a bad play.
Oh yeah, you know what he's gonna do here? He's gonna go do pump control, check the item under it. He's gonna go up save before Saris, reset out when Saris is nothing, and then come down so that he can grab Waterway on his way out. Meanwhile, Lenophis fighting Zazabi, getting all 10 shots in on it. Zazabi has 100 hit points, but unlike any other enemy or boss in the game, any damage you do to it just does 10, so it just takes 10 hits of whatever you hit it with. And actually had to do a little bit of coding for the randomizer to make it so that Zazabi is vulnerable to... I forget what all things Zazabi is not vulnerable to in the vanilla game because you don't have it.
So I think Zazabi is only vulnerable to regular missiles and charge beam, both of which doing only 10 damage. And Herc going for those underwater wall jumps, taking a little bit more time than Lenophis did earlier, but not bad.
Yeah, Herc on his way to Saris. For some reason, as I always say, Saris is never worth.
Until it is. But everyone here, except for Herc, knows that today, Saris is not worth.
Yeah. And Leno using the screw attack that he picked up to make his way up to the Notori area. Doesn't have the ammo to take out Notori. I mean, I guess he technically could if he really wants to spend a lot of time unloading charge shots. But he can check one item up at the top of the sector.
Under Saris is just a powerbomb tank, Eurovos. Yeah, Notori. Oh, a major.
We've powerbomb
no.
data in the
Major.
area you're supposed to use power bombs to get to. Oh, this seat is screaming lower sector 6 to me now. You have
Oh,
both
absolutely.
logical ways in there, and you have Variasuit. But also, those power bombs open up Sector 5. They open up Reactor, and they open up the maintenance duct up on main deck. That could...
They also open up 3 checks in Sector 3. At least Lenophis has already checked the an underfloor check in Sector 4.
Yeah, so I give lower Sector 2 today. We'll give it a C+. It's not stacked, but it definitely did have some progression. Leno not choosing to take a look at the 2-to-1 connector. Or taking a save. Maybe he is choosing to do that.
Right, he doesn't... Well, he wouldn't have had a quick way out other than backtracking. But,
Yeah.
no, just saving at the top of Sector 2.
Is he making the main deck play? Or, no, he'll want to do level 2s before that.
No, he just... I mean, he probably should have opened up level 2s just because of the animals and right animals check, but...
We know it's not going to cost him.
Yeah.
He will be able to get through the Arachnus area more quickly, though, having Screw Attack. Screw Attack one-shots Arachnus, as well as letting you go in the back door to get there. Those doors aren't open, Leno. And Herc
looks
going
like
into
he was thinking about resetting to unlock his green doors, I think, but decides no. I think we'll keep going, and if he needs to come back for animals. Look at that wave beam miss. Oh, stationary blocks, my only weakness.
We both know that pain too. Herc gonna go check lower Sector 2, or he's probably gonna finish out upper Sector 2 first. Leno gonna find his nothing of value here before fighting Arachnus. Herc is running low on locations that he has, not having the Screw Attack. All he had open to him was Sector 2 and Sector 6. And giving us a Ripper Tower check, we just have double missiles in the tower. Leno going to go find a couple of E-tanks, but I'm curious what he's going to find next and how far he's going to push into. I can't imagine we're going to see a Yakuza fight this early from him. But he is gambling a little bit today, so I can't rule it out.
And he goes for the reset. So...
DOG 101, this is Game 2. Lenophis won Game 1 of this best of 3 series.
Herc won the first game.
No, Lenophis won the first game, I thought.
No, Herc won the first game. Herc won by quite a margin.
Oh, that's right. How did I mix that up before? I completely read the bracket wrong. I was even commentating that.
Yeah, I thought that I heard you say that, but then I was like, no, I must have misheard, so I didn't say anything about it.
Oh, yeah, that's just autumn out of habit being dumb out of habit.
A dumb out of habit?
Did you just make my pun worse?
I think I made it better. And that's why you listen to Army of One and Autumn Out of Habit. It's the color commentary that you come for. Because both runners are just sort of retreading over old ground that we've seen from the other one earlier.
Now I'm wondering how I made that mistake, because that was like a 15-minute win for Herc. And we got to
it was a margin. It was quite a margin.
I'm going to blame that on today's a Monday.
Have you had your caffeine this evening?
What's that?
Have you had your caffeine this evening?
I have.
And Lenophis heading deeper into Sector 3. This time with power bombs, so these are going to have a few extra checks that we have not seen yet. I wouldn't be surprised if Leno also head up to box, because power bombs do kill the super Garens.
Yeah, although we could also... Well, he also has screw attack to get through those. We could also see
that's
Leno
true.
take a trip over to Professor X.
Yeah, Leno's been gambling. Oh, man, I don't think he's gambling that hard, but he could be gambling that hard.
Ooh, that is a good question in chat. What do you think, Army? Are we Autumn of One or Army out of habit? Powerbomb tanks RNG hater were the check above Notori that you normally would want to use power bombs to get there.
At least it makes...
Speaking of, they're on screen for you right now.
At least it makes a coherent route out of the Notori area instead of having to backtrack through the Puyo Palace and then climbing back up like Herc is doing right now because of reasons.
And let us go get swapped over. Get ready to drop your cat jams in the chat. And Herc going down to go fight Zazabi. We know that this isn't going to pay off.
Well, I thought Herc already went and came back because he had screw attack. I know that he was thinking, oh yeah, I can get in and out of Zazabi now, but I suppose not.
Ooh, Leno missing a bunch of shots on box.
So with screw, unfortunately, Leno doesn't have access to that 48 damage pseudo screw. The pseudo screw doesn't proc even if you have a held charge. So he's going to have to
and clip into box's hitbox and unload point blank, or he finally gets a good volley of missiles. And also lining up well to get the one hit of the charged wave on box. That is a little bit tricky to line up. I have fought box with this beam combination before, and no matter how bad you think it is, it's worse.
It's not pretty. And finishing with 0 missiles left. Leno finishes the cat jam, and see if we get cat scam. It's missiles.
At least that'll give Leno a little bit of ammo after he just unloaded everything he had into box. I'm not going to call that a cat scam. I'm just going to call that a cat. We just got a cat. No jam, no scam.
No jam, no scam.
What is that up there? I can't get a good glimpse of it. I think it was a major. It's a major.
He's going back for it, so it's a major.
I could just barely see the edge of it, and we've got space jump. So that puts Crumble City into logic for us.
So it should be noted that we did get screw attack out of logic. For Oasis, we do need either high jump, which gives you spring ball, or gravity suit. The underwater wall jumps. Yep, the underwater wall jumps aren't required in logic.
You can get that without underwater wall jumps. It just sucks. But Leno is going to follow the space jump and screw attack into the back of Sector 5. He'll be able to check the Sector 5 data room, which is good, and also might just want to do a full clear of Sector 5. He has power bombs. He can access everything in the sector.
Ooh, Leno running face first into the wall instead of storing that Shine Spark.
You hate to see it. And just some missiles up there. Not worth the headache. And let's see, what do we have in the connector? Just more missiles. Seriously, is this seed playing Oops All Missiles today? Okay, so Autumn out of logic is what happens when I get too tired.
And now we're starting to see some new checks that we haven't seen. Just a missile tank out of the Sector 5 data room.
At least our runners won't have to worry about building up their ammo count for doing any sort of bosses. Now we will see Leno knowing that the sector will unbreak if he goes into any room that does not have a broken state, choosing to go check the speed trap before venturing deeper into the sector. This will unbreak the sector, and you need the sector to be broken to check the second item that is speed locked in that room. Meanwhile, Herc following the screw attack, I didn't see if he checked the connector, but he's following this into Sector 3, so he'll be finding his space jump as well.
And
we have
Leno
wide beam.
able to aim. And it looks like Leno is leaving Sector 5.
He's probably just going to put a save at the top of it.
That's a possibility.
He wants to keep everything he's gotten and doesn't want to risk any shenanigans happening in lower Sector 5. Also, it's a good way to reset out because lower Sector 5, often very barren.
But also, he is actually just leaving Sector 5. I suppose with Screw Attack and Power Bomb, Sector 6 is a little louder for routing.
I would do Sector 5 while you're there.
I would too.
But I think he has it in his head that he wanted to check animals and he wasn't able to. He also skipped out of the power bomb checks on main deck, which is probably what he wanted. So that save at Sector 5, he'll be able to reset back out of there and probably clear the sector. I don't hate the play. Especially because it can be distracting whenever you had to skip a check and you just wonder what it's going to be.
Mm-hmm. Just like the major at the watering hole. Dun dun dun. You thought we forgot about that because we did, but I just
remembered it about 20 seconds before you said it and was going to comment on it. So chat, what do we think's at the watering hole today? Do your worst to these runners.
I think it's plasma. Like, we're gonna be on a plasma hunt. And it's going to be at the watering hole. So the watering hole is the gravity speed check that's right outside of the charge core room. That's Sector 1, yeah.
I'm going to say it's just Ice Beam. They're going to get all the way back there as soon as they can, and it'll be nothing.
Well, Ice Beam is still nice. That's just a really, really easy way combined with Wave out of lower Sector 4. So it's not nothing if it's ice.
And nothing of value in the maintenance duct here or at the end of Spitter Hallway.
So I think we're going to see a little bit of main reactor then.
The question is, with some more firepower that he has, are we going to see a Yakuza fight? This is Game 2, Yuki. Herc won Game 1 of a best-of-3 series. And we are, of course, always glad to see a very lively chat here turning out for this Winners Finals matchup.
And Herc checking the lava maze. We didn't see that check out of Lenophis.
No, and we're also going to get Imposter Professor Oak. And Leno resetting out of the nothing at reactor. And I enjoy that RNG hater. RNG hater calling Imposter Professor Oak Amogus.
Well, who do you think Gary Oak was named after?
Electric, it is Gary, but I will also call him anything but Frank.
Oh there! And Lenophis heading to Sector 6, just a little bit later than I thought he would.
Yeah, we're gonna see if Past Autumn had the call. With Space Jump, that would put the power bombs that they have back into logic, so that can put lower Sector 6 in logic. Even if the screw attack is not yet in logic. Gravity at
Gravity at
on
what?
Gary.
Gravity on what?
Oh no! Oh no!
I wasn't even paying attention until you, because it's like, I mean, it's not going to be anything. It's a single check. What are the odds?
I'm not gonna lie.
I'm
As much
sorry,
as I
what?
hate to say it, I think
I'm
it's gonna be
sorry,
hard
what?
for
I love
Lenophis
it.
to take this race.
Yeah, like that was a slight gamble from Herc. It's out of the way, but if you have a nice save point, then sure, go ahead and do it.
Herc was following the power bombs, and there's never a better time to go fight the scientists there.
That's the closest that you're gonna get to him, where it's the least out of the way.
Pretty much the only way I see Leno having a chance at this point is if Plasma is at Watering Hole and Herc forgets about it, which
just like Herc forgot about the. Oh, he just remembered. This is 1-0 for Herc. This is only game 2.
Yeah, we're gonna see Herc give us a garbage chute check, not a check that we get to see all the time, just because you need to have you need to have gravity and screw attack to get it.
Lenophis with the swag entrance into Pillar Highway, only to be rewarded with a missile. So, I think Lenophis made the smarter play in overall, but Herc got rewarded for being very, very thorough in Sector 3.
Yeah. And we found some power bombs in the garbage chute. I'm glad to see someone putting power bombs in the trash where they belong, and Herc making a beeline to Sector 1. I think he remembers the watering hole.
I think he remembers the watering hole.
Either that or he's thinking Ridley. Well, Ridley's area, not Ridley itself, as that cannot have plasma. Yeah,
no, he is not
going to have to
Korean.
find plasma in a very trolly location to be able to get back into this race. And there are only 4 majors that Herc doesn't... No, 5 majors aside from plasma that Herc doesn't have, so not too many more things for him to even find. Just some more missiles, a case of the finest vintage of missiles over in the wine cellar. Well, I guess that's not the finest vintage. I think that would be Super Missile Data that would be the finest. That's correct, Darkheart. We do not know where Plasma is yet.
We know where the location of a major item. That's what Herc is going to get right now. Herc with a backup
Barrier
strats.
Core on Lenophis' screen. This boss also likes to hold majors, so let's see what it's got today.
And those with the diffusion call, excellent work. You just won your channel points.
You know, I nearly made that call earlier, decided against it, and thought Ice Beam would be trollier, so should have gone with my gut. And yes, RNG hater, Herc absolutely can go open level 4s, and I have to imagine that's the next place he goes. Meanwhile, just an E-Tank. There are 2 more checks in lower Sector 6, but it's looking like Sector 6 is an absolute bust today. Although we do have power bombs and the ability on Herc's side to open red doors, so we could get deep Sector 6 today. And what? Seriously, who's stockpiling all these missiles in the bottom of Sector 6?
I believe that would be the military. Because we need our authorization beam to get further into Sector 6.
And Zyro, the randomizer is a great time. We do have, if you wanted to look into it, we can get a link to the Metroid Fusion Community Discord server. We've got several channels for the randomizer, including some setup help, and plenty of advice for even casual races. It's been a great community. The randomizer is actually what brought me into it, so definitely would recommend that if you are interested in what you see.
So Lenophis reset, and now is going through Sector 5. So we know that his progression is sitting in the depths of Sector 3. And after Sector 5, I mean, it's like Notori or Frank or Yakuza. There's not much after this area to check for Leno. Like, I mean, I guess the Nightmare area, which is a point of no return, that is in logic.
We have seen Leno get gravity vanilla before making the dive into the point of no return. Granted, it was almost last location for him at that time. But yeah, Leno running low on checks here in Sector 5. Meanwhile, Herc entering Sector 5 through the back, finding the missiles down in the data room, and he's going to be making a beeline for level 4 locks. The question is, do we see him check Nightmare's area first? I think with Hercules bench press, I think we do.
I actually disagree, mainly because I have mentioned the reverse Nightmare check after unlocking 4 if you have Screw Attack. And Herc went, you know what? I really like that routing, so I think we'll see that out of him. Unlocking level 4s. Oh no, Herc!
He didn't quite have enough space for the speed boost, so he said, you know what? I'm just going to check this while I'm here.
And here we have a major in the Nightmare area.
Super missiles.
Okay. I mean, it's nice to have.
Doesn't unlock anything with what we have now, but that will make the fights against any cores, especially the ice core, go much more quickly. Herc now has full missiles, so only 6 hits to kill the... And we've got a major here at the E-Tank Mimic. Just high jump and jump ball, so both of our runners getting nice quality of life improvements that are not what they need.
So that high jump puts the Screw Attack back into logic. And that was available ever since green doors were unlocked. So
there are only 2 majors we haven't seen. All we're still looking for are Plasma and Ice Beam.
And Herc on his way to level 4 locks. So it's likely that, well, it's getting more and more likely that we're going to see Plasma on a boss or in Deep 6. Or in Turian. It might actually be one of the 2 checks in lower Sector 1.
Yeah, it would not be out of the question to see Herc go out of Sector 4 and into 6 to do Deep 6. The question is, does he do lower 6 or Deep 6 first? Oh, and Leno is about to have a bad time.
Leno's running out of checks, so...
I agree with the play for Leno. Like, you don't necessarily think to go fight Gary, but... we know that Gravity Suit's not going to be down here, so he's going to spend his time fighting Nightmare and going to have to reset out of it.
So the score is currently 1-0 in Hercules bench press's favor, and Herc is very much in the lead with a very unfortunately placed Gravity Suit for Lenophis down at the the wide core in Sector 3. Nightmare can have Plasma. Absolutely,
Plasma.
Yes.
Oh, what if Nightmare does have Plasma? That is interesting. I don't think it's enough.
What if Hercules bench press skips Crab Battle? I guess we'll find out, because that's the world that we live in. No, he hasn't at the Thunderdome quite yet.
Oh, I was mixing up which tube I was at.
He checked Thunderdome, but he forgot Crab Battle?
Looks like, is he going back for it, or is he going back for Nightmare?
He is doing the reverse exit. Though there are 2 more checks in early 4. behind the power amp and Kago that we haven't seen.
I think Herc wants to clear out Sector 5 because it's been available to him for a long time. You know, just for the drama. Oh, Leno not having diffusion.
He has ice missiles.
Gonna have to do it the vanilla way. And without plasma, this can take a lot of shots.
But with
I say as he gets the phase shift. And now we know Herc is going to go find his high jump among some other checks.
Eventually.
Oh, you know what Herc's doing with his routing? He opened up his reds. He's going back. He opened up reds to also open up yellows. I think he follows this through. I can't believe it's not Sector 6 into 6 for the Deep 6 and Turian checks.
Yeah, I like that routing.
Yeah, that is some really good routing.
Like I don't like the just skipping crab battle, but I mean,
yeah, that I don't have an excuse for. But I love when you see some of the finest players in Randomizer and just putting together the routing decisions that they're making. Because especially when you're down to the top 6 in the tournament, everyone is very good at Randomizer.
And nothing at Nightmare. So Lenophis gonna reset out. Doesn't have very many checks left. Like, he has Notori, he has Yakuza, and he has Gary. But the question is, let's see, what else does he have? He doesn't have much. He went through.
If he goes to Gary now and it takes Herc a while to find plasma, it's still possible.
Like, so he's in Sector 3 right now.
Nightmare was a missile tank. Yeah, I hope for Leno's sake that he goes down to fight Gary, but it does not look like he's going to do that. Yeah, he might be going the back way.
No,
he might also
I think
be going
he's
into one.
Turian.
He might be going for Turian. Oh no. What if Plasma is in Turian? We'll see Leno actually fight Ridley if it is. That is true. Some are saying Plasma could be at Crab Battle, and it absolutely could. And you hate to see it as a commentator when you know where the runner needs to go, but the runner doesn't know where they need to go. And you know it's going to be one of the last places they think to go. And also, one thing that is not in Leno's favor, Herc doesn't have many checks left to make. He's got Notori, he's got some main deck checks, and he's got Sector 6. But that's about all.
Yeah, Lenophis is certainly on a timer to get back to the Sector 3.
Yeah. And Herc is going to find his wide beam here in the speedrun.
Oh no, did Herc crashed again?
No.
When was the last time he saved?
That's we're
in.
We haven't seen Herc forfeit, so I imagine it's not too far back.
Well, so the progression that Herc has is essentially Gravity Suit. And he knows exactly where that is. Gravity Suit and then Redlocks. He saved in 12 minutes in at Sector 4. That's a while back.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he knows where he has to go. But also, when you lose that much progress, how easy is it to forget where all the things you got were? I mean, we found Ice Beam, so we have found we know every major location except for Plasma. The good thing for Herc is that we know that He's gonna remember where gravity is. You don't forget when gravity is on Gary.
Yeah, he's heading straight to screw attack.
Yeah, he needs screw attack. Probably gonna pick up his
power bombs on the way out.
Yeah, he will pick that up because it looked like he was looking to go to deep 6.
Well, so the thing is, Herc is by no means out of this race, just because Lenophis still has not found his gravity suit yet. And it's a testament to making checks, even if you lose your item progress. Making checks is still progress itself. It's coverage that you don't have to make. It's places you don't have to go. So Herc knows that there's nothing in Sector 4. He knows that there's nothing in Sector 3.
Yeah, to answer about it's not a known crash. It's actually a hardware issue and not a software, unfortunately. Yeah, we have ourselves a race.
Oh, that's right. We've got Crumble City to check. We haven't seen this yet.
Imagine if Plasma is here and they've had access to it all along.
Well, it isn't.
No, but we can still imagine it.
And actually, TG Derp, I think you're technically correct. If Plasma is at Crab Battle, that saves her time.
Assuming he doesn't forget about it a second time.
Right. Herc is going to check Crumble City while he is here. He hasn't made those checks yet. They are empty checks, so...
Yeah, it looks like we are going to get the Notori play.
Yeah.
We'll see if we've got vanilla. And to echo a comment in chat, we could see this go into a Yakuza play as well.
Lenophis positioning at the very edge of that platform so those spores don't reach from the left side.
And that's not just a rando thing, that is a thing that absolutely is done in the vanilla game as well. And RNG Hater saying Plasma at Sector 4 data room, question mark. Oh, that would be fun.
So Herc will go into Sector 3. Let's see. He does have his greens open. Okay. And pick up Space Jump above box. So Herc is on a jet seed path right now. Just imagine that this is 12 minutes in.
Yeah, just imagine it's 12 minutes in and you're rushing Gary.
What is that seed?
I think that's just, you made the gamble that paid off. And Herc wasn't even doing it as a gamble. He was just being thorough, blowing his power bombs. Because Herc is definitely one of the biggest proponents of doing everything in an area while you're there.
And only power bombs Notori. So Lenophis heading into main reactor core at this point. So we're going to see the big scary, also misnamed spider that isn't Arachnus.
And isn't a spider.
It isn't a spider, yeah.
Only 6 legs, you can count them yourself.
The other 2 is just hidden behind its body. 2D limitations. The
So
technology wasn't there yet.
the real question is, who has runner fights Gary twice on their bingo card? And yeah, you have to imagine that Herc will start taking some more saves now that probably assumed that those hardware issues were out of the way.
Right, and after an hour of play, seeing them crop up again, I mean, I've got to wonder if it's some sort of overheating issue. This is what sort of happened on Saturday, where the first hour or so were, crash free, but then we started seeing them crop up towards the end of the first run and into the second.
But now what we are seeing is a Yakuza fight, not something you get a lot in the randomizer. If you're fighting Yakuza, that means that things haven't been panning out and you're probably not having a very good time. Probably one of the meanest seeds I've ever seen had Vanilla Space Jump leading to Speed Booster at Crumble City. I may have lost my mind on that one.
We're not sure where she misplaced it. She hasn't found it yet. It's been a while.
Yeah, Cryhard, I agree. That was cursed.
And then we gave it to Herc, and what did he do? He just crumble jumped over Crumble City. Didn't even see the spider.
He dunked on both of us.
Lenophis, you're a little low on health there. You're really, really low on health there.
No, he's got full health. What are you talking about, Army?
Oh, sorry, I blinked. He must have healed. So he saved at the top of Sector 2, it looked like.
I
The
think
question
he's
is-
just going to say, if it's Yakuza, I lose. Are we getting a Gary play? I think we have to be getting a Gary play. There wasn't
think we're
anything
getting
else
a
in this
Gary
direction.
play.
I mean, Gary is basically last location for Leno. The only... I mean, aside from Yakuza, which he's just writing off, I don't know of anything else he hasn't checked.
Well, we've got a race, ladies and gentlemen.
And we are about to see Hart go pick his supers back up and then go open level 4 locks.
I don't think he even picks up his soup. Oh, he does divert. He doesn't even pick up his supers.
I'm kind of surprised by that. I would think because they're not that far along.
You know what?
They're farther than it feels like.
He could pick him up on the way back as well. We do still have the 2 checks in early 4 that we haven't seen behind the POW amp and the Kaga.
And that's why I don't think we're going to see Herc go reverse this time. Unless he wants to fight Nightmare. I have to assume that he's thinking of those items in upper lower 4.
And then, of course, the Sector 4 data room. So let's see if Herc remembers that those crabs have knives. That there's, like, some sort of cave demon.
I've got to say,
Colonel.
I think Herc is back in the lead at this point.
He did not check Crab Battle again.
Does Herc know something that we don't about the logic on Crab Battle?
He has Wave Beam, he has Charge. He's also not going to early 4 to check those 3 checks. He's heading straight to Sector 6.
And you know, I'm sorry, Herc, but I'm really hoping for Plasma at Crab Battle right now. Just purely for the drama here. And plus, I mean, I'm on comms.
And he's
I wanna see a
also
game
not.
3.
He's not picking up the supers either. He's just heading straight to deep 6.
Yeah, I guess he's saying that supers don't save him as much time as they would take to pick up. And Herc,
Also,
please save. Please save.
Get your army saves in chat, folks. And there's the save play.
Schmade, wide is at the top of Sector 5, the speed lock check, sometimes called the speed trap. Yeah, actually, I think that is about where he crashed. Pikmin, I believe we have in fact talked about that at length here. Yeah, Herc did decide to pick up wide. That, I think, is a good play because we've seen wide can make up, I think, about 1.5 minutes with the Omega and the SAX.
I know that feeling. Herc sitting at a now more comfortable 4 E-tanks, heading into Sector 6.
Nothing of value to that death, Electric. The only thing is that he did abandon fighting Yakuza, and that's probably in the back of his mind.
And Herc heading into the Sector 6 loop.
The question is, does he go deep 6 or lower 6? He's going deep 6.
Also, I call this lower 6. I call the box area deep 6. You need more requirements to get there. This is just sort of the lower 6 loop, in my opinion.
I fully agree with you. I'm not sure I agree with the play. I think this late into the race, you have to assume that your opponent took forever to find Gravity Suit and probably hasn't checked deep 6, but they probably have checked lower 6. That was available for a long time.
That is true, but Herc is nothing but meticulous. He is going to check every check he can along the way.
And Herc will be the first to say that he doesn't play based on his opponent's tendencies at all, because everything is randomized, so he's just going to play his game.
He's also going to skip Pillar Highway. Just watch. This is one check that he absolutely knows about, but he refuses to check.
That's good to know if I have to rematch him. But yeah, and I mean, you can't argue with Herc's playstyle either. I mean, through the whole tournament, he has lost exactly 1 race. Let's see, chat, are we going to get our plasma here?
Of losing 2.
Are we going to get plasma at Crab Bout?
No, we are not. Just some power bombs. Oh no.
Herc not in shambles.
But Lenophis probably heading to early 4 to check the data room in those 2 checks.
Yeah.
I don't see him turning around to Sector 6 quite yet.
Also, Lenophis has checked Turian, and Herc has not. So if we see Lenophis going into deep 6 a little bit before Herc, and plasma is not there, then we'll actually see Lenophis maybe picking up some time, being able to just go back out the way he came.
I mean, it's much more likely that the randomizer places plasma in one of these 3 spots than it does in deep 6. But it's just an E-tank for 1. Lenophis picking up a safety tank.
Definitely a thing you want to do. And
it's just a power bomb for 2.
And we might be getting a quick high five here. Or Lenophis will probably check the data room, actually. Herc also did not check the data room. As chat keeps calling for it, and I keep forgetting about.
Didn't Lenophis pick up diffusions? No, diffusions were in the gravity check. Oh no.
I think he just forgot about it, which honestly plays in his favor right now.
Actually, well, yes and no, because he's going to remember that, there's, like, he's scratching his head still, because this is just a power bomb.
Yeah, I have to imagine we get Deep 6, and where else could Plasma be aside from in Deep 6? Is there any other check we haven't seen? Lenophis, what are you doing?
Lenophis is scamming his way out of Sector 4.
I know what he's doing. It's more, why is he doing it?
Maybe because he remembered, there's a thing in Sector 1 that I need to go check that I haven't checked yet.
Yeah, meanwhile, Herc getting us some more cat jam here after finding absolutely nothing in Space Boost Alley. We have seen Turian checks already, and that is not where Plasma is today. Ice Beam is down there.
Yeah, we're getting closer and closer to a Plasma on Yakuza. Because we've got this box 2 check, there's 2 more checks to the right, 1 check in space to the left. I don't think I'm missing any other checks on the station.
Yeah,
we might have space Plasma.
It'll be very interesting if it ends up being on Yakuza. And if Lenophis decides to go there sooner than Herc does. I have to wonder how much it's bugging him that he didn't actually see that item. And he does know that that's a check that a lot of runners really do not want to do anytime soon.
Herc grabbing some missiles off of this core axe. No, this doesn't count as farming.
Leno is not going to be happy to see these diffusion missiles here.
And it's only missiles.
Double missiles, kinda? Leno says he doesn't even want those.
Cat Jam World Tour, everyone. We're going to be listening to this to the end of the game. Oh, at least until
until we hit go mode.
Ice.
It's either in space or on Yakuza. There is nowhere else it can be.
Unless the commentators are unknowingly in shambles.
Always a possibility with the two of us.
Dun, 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 dun.
Unfortunately, just with the difference... Well, Herc also has not fought Notori. Since
It's just missiles.
Leno can reset out of space. We've got a bit of a race. I still say Herc has the lead, but we've got a race.
Yeah, Herc... Ugh. Well, so Herc is going to reset out of Turian once he finds Ice Beam. And that'll put him back at the top of Sector 5, I believe.
Do you really think he'll reset out? I think he might want to keep Ice Beam because that'll let him get the stun lock on the Omega.
He has ice missiles.
On the Omega.
Oh, wait, on the Omega.
I don't think getting out of Sector 1 takes enough time that he'll want to reset out of it. I mean, I could be wrong on that. That is going to end our Cat Jam World Tour, though. Meanwhile,
don't worry.
Just slightly...
don't We have a nice encore from Leno. Thanks, Pikmin. And you're absolutely right. Herc is keeping that ice beam. So we'll have a full complement of beams heading into the SAX.
It does enough more damage in the final fights that I don't think it helps him that much being at the top of 5. Leno having a bit of trouble against Xbox here. It's gonna be hard for him to catch up.
Well, so after this, the only check Leno has after resetting out of space is going back to Yakuza. And I think Herc goes to main reactor first, actually. Before
he
Yakuza.
also has the main deck checks that he needs to make, but he might. Yeah, I think he's gonna go main deck because that would be faster. But Leno really needs to get rid of Xbox, and soon. You hate to see a runner bleeding time like this too.
Oh, Herc had to do the same thing. Leno reset out of Nightmare, so he didn't go back to go get his super missiles either.
That is true. And I think this is just one of those places where you see the advantage of execution from someone who is a top runner of the vanilla game versus someone who is more of a randomizer technician.
And here's the main deck check from Herc. So we've got the 2 in the maintenance vent, and then he's heading to Yakuza. It's last location for us, folks. And it's going to be last location for Lenophis. Once he makes these 3 checks. If Leno loses
this, it's gonna hurt. Knowing that he died to what was going to be the win.
Herc back up to 5 E-tanks. He was only at 2 when he reset. Dun, 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 dun. And Herc in main reactor ahead of Lenophis.
Yeah, we are winding down here, folks. We know that Plasma has to be on Yakuza.
And Leno finding the missiles in space resets. So that's the end of Cat Jam tonight. Join us this time next week.
Yeah, and Leno has to run all the way over to Yakuza, while Herc already knocking on the door. You know, it's not very often that we see both of our runners' last location the same thing.
Not
and
only
by last location, we mean every location
clear.
in Logic except Ridley himself.
Full clear. Other than Ridley. Sorry, Riddles.
And since we lost the world tour, we will get another good track in Yakuza's music.
Yeah, the Yakuza Ceres music is great. I mean, a lot of the music in Fusion is great.
Ceres has music?
Yes, it's this music.
Huh. The things you learn. I don't know why anyone would check Ceres, though. Ceres is never worth it. And Leno able to go the back door into...
Okay, no, wait. I have a question for you. Which is more worth it, Ceres or Yakuza?
Yakuza, because by the time you would actually be able to check that, it has a higher likelihood.
I disagree, because by the time you're able to check Yakuza, it's a wider range. You're able to check Ceres usually much earlier than Yakuza.
I mean, Yakuza's always going to be one of your last locations. I used to, early in my rando days, I used to rush Yakuza as soon as I could,
spicy.
and I lost a lot of races to that.
And with a double, Herc finding Plasma Beam on the big scary spider.
At 1 hour, 23 minutes, and 23 seconds, we're in go mode. Or 32 seconds. I got numbers backwards.
Don't worry, I'm a bitless Dexic myself.
I'm not. I've got no excuse. One thing to note here. Herc has Ice Beam and Leno doesn't. That is going to make the Omega fight go quicker for Herc. So Leno already behind and has to make up even more time. It is going to be a very tall order if Leno wants to come back in this. But this is rando and anything can happen.
Don't forget to hydrate, folks.
Are you trying to tell me my mic is too sensitive, Army?
I mean, maybe a little bit, but also, we've been going for an hour and a half. People need to drink some water.
I mean, I've been drinking water all throughout the race. I've just usually been better about muting myself for it. This is the fine autumn lure that our chat has signed up for today. And Herc does take the save on the way up to the operations deck. Meanwhile, Lenophis fighting the Space Corps.
Herc stream, please. Don't do this to me.
Did Herc crash again, or...?
I don't think it's a crash. I think that's just the stream freeze. Because we haven't seen a crash in that spot. We've seen crashes in, like, door transitions. We've seen door... In fact, the timer paused as well. So that is that's just a hitch on the stream. And
Leno making his way up to the ops deck. Linkshot, I'm not sure what you mean by oil being an important part. Oh, never mind. I realized it as soon as I said it. You know, I could have gotten that reference, but I spilled it instead.
Yes, this is a restream issue. In fact, I could probably pull up Herc's stream right now, and it's probably okay on my end. It's just a restart issue.
Or we could just get Herc right back here as he sets the propulsion sequence to activate. He said propulsion sequence activate and restream activate. And yeah, in winners finals, we're not going to see a victory lap today.
Especially after a crash an hour in. Herc, I'm sure he's pretty tense at the moment. Probably literally shaking.
Probably not anymore, since we do have the 10-minute delay, so I imagine both of our runners have probably finished by now. But 10 minutes ago, Herc was getting ready to go for low height, and let's see if he gets it.
Restream, Herc.
Oh,
no.
Just a little too high.
Bonk.
Leno fighting the ice core as Herc gets the bonk. And Herc has to be careful. We've already seen Leno take a death, but Herc down to 1 hit point. He's gonna have to be careful here. hey, we actually have some new viewers who aren't sick of hearing me make that joke yet.
I was
And with the stun,
misses
dropping the
misses
stun
the
lock.
stun. Only one E-Tank left. A double hit will kill him on the spot, but the Omega is down just as Lenophis is leaving. Oh, that is that's a close finish.
That is a very close finish. But Hercules Bench Press finishing first with a racetime.gg time of 1 hour, 28 minutes, and 26 seconds. This is win number 2, and will mean that Hercules Bench Press will be moving on to grand finals.
Howdy.
Yeah, so
and we are being joined by the man himself.
Are you
GG,
going to be
Herc.
buying a new Game Boy player before the grand finals?
I'm buying a new Game Boy player. I'm buying a new flash card. I'm buying a new GameCube. I'm buying new power supply. I'm buying literally new everything. I scrubbed everything with isopropyl. I couldn't get so there to take apart the GBP. I had to have a screw bit to take it apart, and I don't have it on me at the moment. So I was like, well, I'll take a Q-tip and do my best, and it survived like 2 test runs. So I was like, okay, cool. I guess, whatever I did, I scrubbed everything and we got it. And then, of course, 57 minutes in, I'm like, oh, cool. Well, I'm going to lose. That stinks, but whatever. Literally, as soon as it crashed, I was like, cool, I lose. And I was immediately just like, okay, where are the items that I absolutely need? And let's figure out what I have.
So, the thing that would have made this go differently, Leno took a death to Yakuza before diving into Deep 6 and Restricted.
Before getting Gravity Suit at Gary.
That's true.
That's when he took the death. Lenophis was pretty much final 3 checks because he had already visited the main reactor core. But he fought Notori, then he went to fight Yakuza looking for Gravity. He died at Yakuza and said, you know what, if Yakuza has Gravity, I'm going to fight Gary right now. But right as that was happening, is when you were experiencing your hardware issues.
It happens.
Again. It happens, yeah.
Literally the entire time, I'm like, well, game 3, I guess.
Yeah, we saw both of you make every check in the game except Ridley.
Yeah, well, not every check. I didn't check Nightmare, which I could have lost this one because when I was going up the elevator of Sector 1, I legitimately was about to go to Sector 5 because I was thinking I can go get supers and speed up a few the last few fights, and then I was like, you know what? There's more benefit to me just going and doing the main deck checks and just saying, whatever. I'll just, if I lose because I don't have supers, then I lose. It's whatever. But yeah, I'm glad I just decided, nah, that's too far out of the way. Let me just go to main deck.
And actually, chat pointing out one more location you didn't check. You skipped Crab Battle twice.
So I did a test seed earlier to do to make sure that everything, all the hardware was working and that we weren't gonna experience issues 5 minutes into the race again. And I had no issues for the 2 test seeds that I did last night and today. And there was a point where I went to check that item, and I specifically remember it because I was trying to I got caught up with something else. So I remember sitting in that room looking at those crabs walking back and forth, and I just, in the back of my mind, I was like, oh, especially during the second pass, I was like, oh, I've already checked that room. I just got to keep going.
That's the one bad thing that can happen whenever you do a warm-up seed, just thinking you've checked something that you haven't. Army was in somewhat of shambles about that, though.
Sorry, buddy.
I have to say, the part of me that wanted drama was kind of hoping that would be Plasma.
Honestly, I mean, the one item that I never check is that one in Sector 6, the
Pillar Highway.
Yeah,
Yep.
Pillar Highway. I just, I don't know. I'm just waiting for that to come and bite me in the rear end, and I know it will at some point, probably. But so far, I haven't really ever seen major items hanging out there, so I'm inclined to skip it.
Definitely seen it a few times in this tournament, but a lot of us runners, we have just that one check that we say, if it's there, I lose.
Yeah.
I mean, I think mine's a little bit known to the community by now, and it just cost me recently.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's always that, like, you gotta weigh the good with the bad, and I'm glad that this race ended up like being close. I'm surprised that I won, honestly. To be completely truthful, I was expecting to do game 3 right after this, but it was 2 really good matches with Leno, and I apologize to him already. After the issues, letting him know, like, hey, we tried to get a hold of you, and I'm incredibly sorry, but like I crashed like 5 times in the first like 6 minutes, and I didn't know what the problem was. I had an idea, and we went from there, and either way, we were talking about the possibility, if I couldn't get it working today, just pushing it off until after Thanksgiving. Which, I didn't want to have to push it that far, but I'm glad that it didn't affect things too much.
Yeah, especially because lower bracket is definitely starting to catch up too.
Yeah.
Because we have both matchups of lower bracket scheduled for next weekend. So on Saturday, we have myself versus Rezarin, all 2 or 3 games, and then on Sunday we've got Ivan versus C. Scotty W.
Ooh.
Those are our 2 losers bracket quarterfinal matchups, so got some good fusion coming up for you on the weekend.
Those are 2 really good matchups too, especially like Scotty and Ivan. Ivan was the 1 seed, and Scotty, I know, has just been like tearing through that lower bracket after, like, what did he get knocked out in, like, second round?
First round.
First round of winners. That's right, you knocked him out.
Yeah, Scotty has lost a total of 3 races in the... Oh no, he lost 1 against Friday, so he has races he's lost. Unlike you've lost a total of 1 race this entire tourney. Even going 4-0 against Army of One.
Hey, I almost got 1 off of you. That was so freaking close.
Do you want to do best of 9?
That'll be the exhibition match. I'll face the grand winner, Kirk or Scotty or Lenophis
we'll slingshot you to whoever you get to face a matchup against. Whoever wins the grand finals.
But yeah, that definitely. Look, if we're doing a best of 9, I want to be in comms for that between you 2. Those are always some good matches, and you ran all of your races when I couldn't watch.
We're doing them all back to back, by the way. There's no breaks. Get a bucket.
It's an endurance challenge.
Oh, yeah. It's just like that, like, holding your Wii for a Wii contest. Except there's no Nintendo Wii at the end of this yellow brick road.
Yeah, there's just playing a lot of Metroid Fusion.
Yeah.
Which, I mean,
it's just
we've all made that mistake before.
Sadness.
But yeah, and now looking forward, we know that the path to victory in the tournament, if anyone wants to win other than you, Herc, then that person will need to beat you in 2 best of 3 series.
They're also going to have to get past Leno and losers.
Yeah, so that is... Both of those are a tall order, because before this, Leno had only dropped 1 race in the tournament as well. So he's been making a run of it as also one of our lower seeds, coming in at the 21st seed. But that just goes to show that seeding in a randomizer tournament, it's a thing you can do, but anything can happen.
Yeah, literally anything can happen. Like it's honestly awesome to see, like, if you seeing like the kind of lower, I mean, you can't even say that they're lower seed because but someone who is seated kind of lower after the initial seeding race is just basically making a run of through the winners bracket like that is just awesome.
And we were saying that there are a lot of different routing styles that go on in the community, and noting how you are known for being very thorough. And I'd say that won you the race here, because not a lot of runners would go up and check Gary when you did.
So when I checked Gary, I was about to go to 5, and I thought, oh wait, I've got power bombs. Let me check the nearby item that that's above the stretchy after the speed blocks. And I was like, well, I'm already here. Let me check the one in the lava. And then I was like, I'm already here. Let me just go check Gary because, there's no point of leaving and then having to come all the way back in case he has something. I was like, I'll just take the risk. And if he has nothing, there goes like a few minutes. Big deal. But as soon as I found it, I was like, I've got a golden ticket.
Yeah, I mean, you liked the place so much you did it twice. I think that's a tournament first. 2 Gary fights by 1 runner in the same match.
Dude, he doesn't get enough love. Nobody ever goes to see him.
Well,
yeah, he's held Gumbo a few times in the tournament.
When he has something for him, right? It's like that one uncle that you only go to see when you want money from him or something.
Speaking of money, shout outs to Lucent.
But with a little bit of a non sequitur segue, coming up on the schedule, we do have 2 lower bracket races. We've got Rezarin versus Autumn Out of Habit starting Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern. And also on Sunday, we have C Scotty W versus SN Ivan starting at 2:40 p.m. Eastern time. That's a little bit. Oh, I see. They want to start their race at 2:30. The restream will start at 2:40. That's what happened there.
Also, looking at both of these are very lopsided in the voting on challenge as well. A little bit surprised to see where some of the favoring is here.
Well, someone's become a crowd favorite.
But yeah, I mean, I have to say, looking at who's favored in these, I really want that rematch with Scotty.
That would be pretty hype. The losers round 8 rematch of winners bracket round 1 would be super sick.
I'm waiting for that grudge match to happen.
I'm about it.
Well, I've got a tall order on my plate first, and Scotty's just got to get through the number 1 seed in the tournament. No big deal. It's just Ivan.
Ivan has some crazy routing though, so it literally could go either way. Like he just lucks into like just the most random stuff. It's ridiculous sometimes. Where he'll just be like, there's a couple items here, but I'm really feeling this item. And he's like, oh, cool, gravity. Let me just go, oh, look, plasma. It's like, what the heck?
But yeah, and with this also, we now have Herc. You are guaranteed to be top 2 in the tournament. Leno is guaranteed top 3. The rest of the top 6 still yet to shake out. Do you have any other remarks before we hand back over to SpeedGaming? I know there is a jam-packed schedule. I'm not even going to try to go through what else is happening tonight. And that sounds like a no there.
Yeah, I think that'll do it.
So with that, thank you all for coming out to watch this very hype winners finals match. I've been Autumn Out of Habit, joined here by Army of One, and we will see you next mission.
Good night, everyone.